front. Got an injured player? No problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000, and a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend, where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code Spreaker to play for free. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. All right.
Wow, that was really good, man.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. I love that website. And you know what's best is you first go to 87sportsfans.com and you listen to our show. And then you go to thefantasygreek.com and you get all the fantasy football information you need. And then you go to DraftKings.com and you win $1 million.
And tune in Wednesday.
It's the perfect sequence.
And tune in Wednesday nights at LateNightSportsRadio.com for the Fantasy Greek starts and sits in 60 minutes.
Absolutely.
And if you call in on Wednesday night, I'd even answer, or I would answer a question if it had to do with just the Daily League.
Yep.
I would.
And tonight. Call in on Monday nights, too.
Call in any
night. By all means. Jim is here for a full hour on Monday nights. He'll be here to answer all your questions.
585-633-7487. That's 585-633-7487. So, looking ahead to next week, which games do we differ on? Well, you guys are picking the Bears and I'm picking the Vikings, and just because I'm off the Bears train. That team can die in a tire fire for all I care right now. I'm done right now.
I'm off the Bears train, but on just a dice roll, their talent level is still vastly superior to Minnesota's. And being at Soldier Field, I think this is an absolute must-win for the Bears. If they lose this game at home to Minnesota, it would just be devastating to this team for the rest of their season. I mean, as bad as it is, it'll make it even worse.
And I will say there is an outside shot that Adrian Peterson could be reactivated for this weekend. And if that does, in fact, happen, I could see the Bears just getting clobbered.
Mm-hmm.
Clobbered.
And I will say, in my fantasy league, I picked up Adrian Peterson last week just to stash him on the bench. And I also have Josh Gordon stashed away.
Nice. Look at you.
So, electrifying the final playoff push. All right, moving on. Another game we disagree about. After tonight especially, am picking the Falcons to beat Carolina at home. Neither team is playing well. Carolina just gave up 9 sacks to Philadelphia. Different team, I understand. I don't like where Carolina is. Atlanta is like it's like a half a puddle of vomit better than Carolina.
Half
I think
a puddle of vomit.
Yep, and so that's why I'm picking the Falcons.
Wow, I don't know how I can get past half a puddle of vomit.
Yeah, that and my Tupperware analogy. I'm on fire this week.
Here's the thing: the only reason why I think the Panthers have a chance is because the Falcons' defense is bad. It's just terrible. So. Yeah. I don't expect them to get the kind of pass rush on him that occurred tonight. But I agree. I mean, after you watch tonight's game, it's very difficult to have any confidence in the Panthers' season, especially with Cam Newton. He's still beat up. I
made these picks this week very angry.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Do we need to get you some help?
No. I was very emotional when I picked these.
Okay.
Steve-O, you're picking St. Louis over Denver. Talk about that.
Well, here it comes.
No, I'm just going to say St. Louis is one of those teams that their defense, they've played against some really good teams and they've put scares and they've actually won some games that I didn't think they were going to win. And just Denver is also, like, honestly, they did not look good in the beginning of that game against Oakland. But, of course, once again, as soon as they started playing like Denver, they crushed them. I'm making this my surprise pick. I think St. Louis is good enough to make a major upset. And Denver is one of those teams that Sometimes they play down to the competition. And I think they're vastly superior offensively compared to St. Louis? Yes. But I think St. Louis's defense, if they can put pressure on Peyton Manning, he's proven time and time again that if he has to throw under pressure, he's not the same quarterback. So I think Denver can win this game? Absolutely. But I have that little glimmer of hope that this can be my surprise pick of the week.
So you're the glimmer man.
I am the glimmer man.
I like how he said a glimmer. There's for the Broncos. Like what? Sorry, Steve. That was just funny.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Oh, there's just a tweet. Hope the Stuart Scott rumors aren't true. What happened to Stuart Scott?
I have no idea.
Interesting. Sorry, I got distracted. All right, back on topic. Seattle versus Kansas City. Steve and Jim are both picking the Chiefs. I am picking Seattle to win on the road in this. Why? Again, angry pick. Seattle's got that chip on their shoulder, I believe, and they looked horrendous early against the Giants and pulled it out. I think they can go in. Kansas City doesn't really wow me offensively. I think Seattle's more than capable of winning that game on the road.
That was a close game for me. I mean, I could have gone either way on it. I eventually took the Chiefs because I think they're a better team at home. I don't think the Seahawks are all there, and I think they'll have their share of problems against the Chiefs. I think it'll be a down and dirty game, and they're going to run, and they're going to run, and they're going to run. It's going to be old school, and if you're from that era, this is the game to watch.
And I agree with Jim. I think Kansas City at home, it's still next to Seattle is one of the toughest places to play. And Kansas City's solid at home. And Seattle has proven this year that they are a much different team, especially their defense on the road. And you got to wonder, how long can Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch run that offense, just the two of them? Because it seems like their passing game is pretty much non-existent. And if it wasn't for Marshawn Lynch with his 4 touchdowns and Russell Wilson getting a lot of first downs this last game with his legs, they would not have won. So to me, it's just Seattle, they have a lot of figuring out to do before I can really get behind them against a tough Kansas City team.
Okay. New England versus Indianapolis. Steve and I are picking the Patriots. Jim, you're picking the Colts.
Home field, baby, home field. Bye week, Andrew Luck. I think the Colts got the Patriots figured.
I don't believe in bye weeks anymore.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't believe in Santa Claus anymore either.
Too bad. See, I always, I love my Colts. I'm a Colt fan, but just the way New England's played recently, they just look dominating. And I would need them to lose before I would really bet against them, because they're on a good roll right now. I know they're coming off a bye week, and that sometimes can throw off your mojo, but I don't know. They're playing, in my opinion, they're playing some of the best football in the NFL right now. So,
see, and I looked at it that way too. Both teams are playing just some of the best football in the NFL, and I think the Colts they're a better team right now.
Colts defense is better than I thought it would ever be quite honest. We all picked Washington to beat Tampa Bay, but I think that's a game where that might come back to bite us.
But why do you think that, though? I mean, at the end of the day, the way I saw it is it's still Josh McCown. Well, let me back up here. The Redskins have not a good fantasy defense, but they have a good defense in general. Mm-hmm. And they're effective against the run, and Tampa Bay has really no run right now. And they're effective against the pass, not as effective, but they could take them. And defensively, the Bucs aren't very good at all. And RG3 should have a much better outing against them than he did against the Vikings 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I just think that Tampa Bay is kind of a wild card, and one day they're going to put it all together and upset a team. And Washington doesn't strike me as a team that fires on all cylinders. It's just not yet. See,
the beginning of the season, I thought Tampa Bay also was a wild card, But then after the last 5 weeks,
Yeah, no, they've been.
I don't really have that same feeling anymore.
That's what I mean. I did pick the Redskins for the record.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there. Oh, by the way, since we're all starting to openly question Cincinnati, this is the week that they'll probably upset the Saints. Just for the record, we all picked the Saints. I picked the Saints, but God, Cincinnati is an enigma. They just are.
They are, but so's New Orleans.
But New Orleans,
and they are at home in New Orleans. If they are one thing, that is a solid team at home.
Yeah, New Orleans should be able to put up like 40 points at home.
Yeah,
as long as they give it to Brandon Cooks, that's all I care about. Just give it to Brandon Cooks. You hear me, Sean Payton? Brandon Cooks.
Well, I will tell you that playing Brandon Cooks at home is a good thing in fantasy. That's where he has been, hands down, the most productive.
Oh, without a doubt, because every time I've started him on the road, I end up banging my head against the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's one other player as well who's similarly situated as Brandon Cooks. And if you want to know who that is, ladies and gents, come out to thefantasygreek.com. In about an hour or so, I'll be posting our waiver wire report, and he's right in that report.
What do you guys?
Wow!
Look at you! That was slide.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
They are.
What do you guys think about the Raiders' chances against the Chargers?
I mean,
I don't think they have a chance.
They played Denver tough for a quarter and a half.
They
did, but San Diego has a lot to prove because they're coming off of their bye week and 2 losses leading into that. And Oakland, just after watching some of that Denver game, they just don't seem like they want to win. They seem like they want to play good, and they do. They play tough against a lot of teams, but they just don't have that little bit you need to win a game.
They definitely.
It almost reminds me of Jacksonville last year.
They definitely don't have that staying power.
No.
This should be a bounce-back game for the Chargers after what they've been through, especially that last game. But I will say this, that in the last game between the Chargers and the Raiders, Derek Carr had 4 passing TDs. It was a high-scoring game. I don't expect that this same time around. I think it might actually be more of a medium-scoring game.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can't see the Raiders. I mean, look, if you look at the Raiders on paper, they have a great pass defense. I mean, that is sort of what kept them in the game with the Broncos for that first quarter and a half until all hell broke loose on that pass to the offensive line that ended up getting fumbled.
Mm-hmm.
At that point and on, I mean, the game just went south for the Raiders. So, they've got a ways to go if they want to have a complete game. I wish they'd play the Jaguars. I mean, I'd love to see that game because I think the Raiders could beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I think Derek Carr has a 78.3 quarterback rating for the year. I think you take that and run if you're the Raiders. That's fantastic for a rookie.
That's awesome. He's the shining light on this team.
Seriously,
yeah.
And you look at. I'm looking at their rankings right now. They're 29th in scoring defense, 23rd in total yards. They're 18th in passing yards allowed. They just get run over. They're 26th in rushing, and because they trail so much, they rank 5th in passing attempts. So it's not a recipe for success for a young quarterback when you have to throw that disproportionate to your running game.
Wouldn't it be great if the Raiders got Gruden to come out of sports broadcasting and come back onto the gridiron? I don't think he would do that. But certainly the Raiders are in a position, I would say financially, to offer him enough money that maybe he doesn't refuse.
As long as he leaves the banana at home.
As long as he what?
Leaves the banana at home.
Hey, if the man wants to play Mario Kart, let him. It's a fantastic game.
There is a picture that Bleacher Report tweeted out of John Gruden holding the banana and the way he's looking at it, and I said somebody needs to Photoshop that with porn.
Oh God, you had to go there.
I'm not going to be
You're
the one.
You're going
to
there this time, not me.
You already went
What's
there.
I didn't say nothing. What did I say that was over the line?
Nothing. Well, nothing technically that was over the line, but
correct.
Yeah.
Pushing the limits here, pushing the limits, and
we have listeners with a good imagination because they need to listen to our show. So
yeah,
they're going to be able to put 2 and 2 together and make 6.
we have the best listeners in the United States
We just-
by far.
Oh, absolutely.
We just don't know who
By
they are.
Absolutely.